Good evening, YouTube. In this video, as you can tell by the title, I want to discuss with you all our story of having two sets of twins. In November of 2013, my husband and I got married. December 2013, we found out we were pregnant. I got a referral from a friend of mine, and we went in to see my new doctor. It's my first time meeting him, and he did a check of me, a uterine check, and he says, "Oh yeah, you're pregnant." And I'm thinking in my head, well, I know I'm pregnant. I was very unhappy about it because, like I said, my husband and I, we had only been married for a month, a little over a month, and I wanted us to wait. I didn't want children at all. I only agreed to have children because he wanted them. So anyhow, the doctor says, "Oh yeah, you're pregnant." Based on the date of my last cycle, I should have only been 8 weeks at the time. But with his check, he felt like I was further along than that. So he wanted to do an ultrasound. He did an ultrasound. Turns out I was pregnant with twins. Now, there have been people who have been having dreams and visions about us, including my husband. He had a dream. So we went into it thinking, is this really going to be twins? Because we already had a feeling. Even I said to my husband before we were married, I don't even think we were engaged yet. That's another story for another video that I can share with you all, the story of how we got married. But I'd asked the Lord for a sign to show me whether or not my husband was who I was supposed to marry. And when the Lord gave me that sign, I'm like, this is it. And so I knew my husband comes from a big family. He wanted to have children even though I didn't. And I'm all about compromise, and especially going where the Lord tells me to go and all of that. So before we even got engaged, I'm like, I'm going to have children. It would be so neat if we could have twins, a boy and a girl. And my name's Taylor. My husband's name is Ryan. Very big on unisex names. I was like, we could name the boy Taylor and the girl Ryan. Even though I never wanted children, I always thought that was a cool thing that could happen. As you all know, it happened. So we found out we were pregnant. However many weeks later, we found out it was a boy and a girl. And then I had to have a C-section. I had to have an emergency C-section with them. And on the operating table, we have been going back and forth the whole pregnancy on what the names would be. On the operating table, my husband tells me, you can name them whatever you want. And that was their names, Ryan and Taylor. The girl is Ryan, the boy is Taylor. So fast forward to just within the last year and a half, we're pregnant again. I called my doctor's office. I said, this was before I had even missed a cycle. We just knew the first time it was completely and entirely unexpected that we got pregnant, because we were not ready for that. But this time we knew. I hadn't missed a cycle. I took a pregnancy test, said I'm pregnant. Called my doctor's office. I said I need to get in for a visit. They're like, you can come in between 4 and 5 weeks to confirm pregnancy. I'm like, no, I know I'm pregnant. I need to know how many children are in. How many babies are inside of me? So I go in and it's twins again. So let's talk about this. because the first question that at every visit where I encountered a new person, or even sitting in the doctor's office talking to other patients that were waiting, seeing me pregnant, and start making small talk, asking questions, the first question they would ask myself or my husband is, this, like, how common is that? And it's actually a lot more common than you would think to have two sets of twins. So I have two sets of fraternal twins. So there's a difference between fraternal and identical. Fraternal is for a woman to have fraternal twins, it is normally genetic. It means you have a gene that causes you to hyperovulate. So instead of releasing one egg at a time, you release multiple. Identical, there's no they haven't found any type of science that says it's genetic or anything like that. And it's basically just an egg. One egg gets fertilized, and shortly after that, it splits. It can also split more than once. There have been cases of identical triplets. That is incredibly rare, but it has happened. It's just a random phenomenon. So, a lot of times people think that identical just means that the babies look alike, and that's not the case. Identical means everything is identical. So if you have a boy and a girl set of twins, they cannot be identical. Some people might feel like that goes without saying, but it does not. I have had people ask me if our first set of boy-girl twins are identical. So if the sexes are different, if the genders are different, they're fraternal. A lot of people also think that just because they're twins of the same gender, that they're automatically identical. So kind of like the other extreme. And that is not the case. Even if the children look very much alike and they're the same gender, they can still be fraternal. What else was I say? A big question from the medical professionals that I saw, like not just people in general, but medical professionals, they were always surprised that our twins were conceived naturally versus in vitro or something similar to that. I'm not sure of all the options that they have to help with reproduction, but medical professionals were quite surprised that we had back-to-back. Now, there have been cases of people with multiple sets of multiples before, but back-to-back is a little bit more rare. And they were surprised that it's naturally conceived. I don't know, like I've been posting videos on here for a while on YouTube, and I ask you guys in the description box all the time, please send me some questions that you want answered. I feel like I'm just rambling, dishing out information. I want to know what you guys want to know. There's a lot of this stuff you can Google and find out, but I'm happy to share. I find it so interesting. I didn't know a lot of the stuff that I know now until after I had twins. I looked all this stuff up because it was so interesting to me. I even started an Ancestry account because I needed to know more about my lineage and where I came from, and if there are other multiples in my family. I haven't found out too much yet, but a lot of that is just a waiting game with the ancestry. You know, people join at different times and just wait for a match. But yeah, please leave me some questions in the comments. I'd love to answer them. And I hope this was at least a little bit informative for you guys. All right, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and watch some of the past videos. They're snippets of the babies, all 4 of them. My 6-year-olds aren't babies anymore, but they'll always be my babies. So please watch and enjoy. Thank you.